Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. This is the Dannysaur on screen, and over there you will see Liaison. Liaison, how you doing tonight, sir?
I am great, Danny. Really excited for today's matchup. We've got two really good teams. Should be an awesome 5-game set we've got coming up.
Yeah, it'll be very good. Down here in the center, as you guys will see, it's Microgamers and Team Elite, and we pretty much already have Game 1 loaded up. We're just in the final stages here, so I'm pretty excited. Liaison, this is our first gig together, my man. It's gonna be good.
It is. Hopefully the first of many, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And we have a PVT coming up, which is fitting for us. So I will irrationally cheer for our Protoss player, and you can irrationally cheer for the Terran player. So
I will actually irrationally cheer for no one and remain an impartial broadcaster.
Oh, right. That's what we should do. All right, let's do it up. I will go ahead and bring us in. So, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Thunderdog eSports. I am the Dannysaur alongside of Liaison. And starting up in the upper left-hand corner of Habitation Station for Team Elite, we have Flash. Liaison, take us away.
Right-hand corner. Didn't mean to cut you off there.
No worries.
We've got our pink Protoss player for Team Microgamers. It's StuN.
And I'm pretty excited. We should have a nice little matchup here. Microgamers have a storied history through Thunderdog, as they have been trouncing through ever since I came on board. So we will have to see if that continues today. StuN v Flash, and as we will always have in the beginning of these matchups, we have a little bit of downtime, Liaison, so tell me a little bit about how you got to where you are.
Well, I guess it hasn't been a linear path, I guess I can put it that way, but I went to college for broadcasting, went to Ithaca College, did a lot of sports broadcasting there, a couple of really cool internship and job opportunities, and kind of decided that as much as I had enjoyed it, that I kind of wanted to go maybe a slightly different direction with it, and there was kind of the sports world didn't really do it for me, but eSports I absolutely loved, and so I've just been looking for opportunities to cast for the past couple of years, and so happy to come on board with Thunderdog and the Top Dog League and everything that they've got going on. It's just really exciting. Some really good Starcraft, and obviously really good casters to cast with. So.
Oh, you're too kind, Liaison. Buttering me up already. This is gonna be a wonderful.
Better get ready.
Oh, it'll be a wonderful budding relationship. As we see Flash opening with just a standard Reaper, we're not going to see anything too fancy here. StuN, of course, 2 geysers going on, so no real early expand planned, at least not right away. No big deal, so not a whole lot going on. I didn't know that you went to college actually for broadcasting. I also kind of went. I went for media studies, but I did some broadcasting too.
So it's one of those things where you can kind of have a major that isn't exactly broadcasting, as long as it opens you up to opportunities, right? To get behind a mic and do stuff like this, which you don't have to just find at school. So you kids out there, take notes, I guess.
Yeah, absolutely. And then one day you can make the natural progression like the two of us did. And first you go into sports, and then second you go into esports, because clearly we have our priorities right.
You know what's really funny, by the way, because there is a Starcraft game going on here.
Oh, right.
This build is actually from Flash is actually almost identical to a Flash build that he executed in Pro League on Merry-Go-Round relatively recently that I was watching and kind of analyzing, where you get the early engineering bay, really fast +1, he'll follow it up with +1 armor. It just lets you get turrets out in case there's a early Stargate coming out, which is exactly what we're going to be seeing from StuN.
Oh, so you're just calling it out already. I like it. We'll have to see if he does follow up. I was going to comment that is very early +1. Plenty of Marines coming out, and both players pretty much taking at least a passive approach, at least relatively soon. And Flash does see that Stargate, so So he has to be pretty excited if he is planning on that build that you said where he... Oh, and an Oracle coming out. So this could actually be really good for him if he has a hard counter kind of set up for this right away.
Yeah, he's got 8 Marines out on the map right now. He's producing 2 at a time, soon to be 3 at a time with Stim starting once this tech lab finishes up just now. And, you know, he's in a pretty good position. Obviously, it takes 6 Marines to kill an Oracle, so he's got more than enough. He's going to want to try and get 6 and 6 in each of his mineral lines. But he should be in a pretty decent spot. I wouldn't expect these Oracles, now plural, to do too much, especially now with that turret going down. It should be done just in time.
Yeah, and he pretty much planned for this beautifully. I mean, he may get 1 or 2, but that's certainly not worth the investment depending. So we'll have to see. And oh, it does get done just in time, and really no damage done. Might get a couple Marine, 1 SCV, and he's going to have to turn around. So as predicted, he's got that timing down pat, especially after seeing that Stargate.
And he's just starting his quick +1. Really interesting decision. He's getting concussive shells first before Stim, for combat shields. You gotta wonder if maybe that's a mistake, but I don't think so at this level. But a super early fleet beacon going down with the second Stargate. What are we going to be seeing here from StuN?
Oh dear, I do not know. This reminds me, I think, of one of my last casts. The last time I've seen this early of a fleet beacon was because we had Proxy Tempest, and yeah, you heard that correctly, and it was pretty crazy. But now these 2 Oracles might be able to do a little something, picking off some SCVs in the geysers, but there's a big time push coming across from Flash. I don't know if StuN is totally equipped to hold this off. What do you think, Liaison?
Well, these force fields are going to have to be perfect, and they're not. The photon overcharge does go down. It isn't going to scare away this army as they start picking away at probes. They get 1 sentry, the overcharge focusing down the Marines, takes 3 shots from the overcharge to kill a Marine, and they're just going to march into the main base. Could do a ton of damage here. The Mothership Fort just barely does not have enough energy yet, does now have enough energy for the overcharge. Second overcharge goes down. Marines are trapped, and I'm not sure if they've done the damage that they need to, especially since he's going to need those Marines to deal with these Tempests coming out.
Yeah, and there's a couple of Oracles here, and to be honest, I almost want to say that this attack somehow was a great trade for StuN. He really didn't lose much. He really lost very minimal mining. He had, what, 2 Stalkers and 2 Sentries at the front. That's pretty much all he lost, and Flash lost a big-time chunk of army. You can see down in the bottom right, losing a pretty hefty amount, about a 500 resource gap there.
Yeah, and it's one of those things where it was a great idea from Flash, but he didn't need to commit to it the way he did. Once he forced the overcharge, he baited out 4 fields, he killed the sentry. He could have just backed off and, you know, when he saw that the Mothership Core was close to a second overcharge in its energy, but once the second one gets burned, those Marines are absolutely trapped. And I know he doesn't know that these Tempests are on their way, but, I mean, I guess the observer hindsight is 2020, and the gold base going down for StuN as well. He's in an awesome position.
Yeah, and I don't know if you noticed, but one of those Oracles has 2 kills. The other one was hogging all of them and has 14. So he got a lot of damage done kind of behind the scenes a little bit. Now with the gold expansion going up, StuN is flexing his muscles here pretty well, and he's looking in great position. And, I mean, Flash, if you look back at his base, there's an armory that's been kind of dead. Now finally gets an SCV on it. And those little tiny things just messing up the build of Flash. And, you know, he's got... Does he even have any medevacs out? No, not yet. He will have almost 6 Tempests before Flash got 2 medevacs out.
And he knows that the Tempests are on their way. If you look at his vision, he's seen the fleet beacon. He's seen both Stargates, and building medevacs, Marines, Marauders, getting combat. He's almost ignoring it. You would look at this as if he was just playing against a standard Protoss opener here with Colossi or Templar or something along those lines. He's going to be really sad when he marches across this map and sees this gold base taken. And with 6 Tempests guarding it, I would not expect him to fight here very long.
Oh no, and he loaded up into the medevacs, and a medevac is going to go down full, and an instant GG.
Right there.
Wowza. That ended in a flurry. All of a sudden, just boom.
A fiery sacrifice of infantry units from the Terran player Flash.
I saw.
And very quickly, Microgamers takes a 1-0 lead.
Yeah, I mean, typically when you see that many Tempests, the last thing you want to do is load all of your units into a very brittle unit and fly directly into them. A little bit unfortunate that he just kind of got caught there, but that will go ahead and give Microgamers our lead 1-0, as you mentioned. So with that, we're going to Oh, go ahead, Liaison.
I was just going to say, before we go to a break, I think that what his thought process was, is once he saw the Tempest fire, realized how behind he was, and when he saw the gold base, he realized how behind he was, and it was just kind of like his last ditch, like, maybe cross your fingers, the game bugs out, and my Marines do 100 damage per shot, and I can figure this out, but it didn't happen for him, so he just GG'd out.
Maybe he just thought there was one, maybe thought maybe two, but 6 of them being out there.
6 is pretty serious.
Yeah, a little bit rough, and then he was also flying into cannons, so yeah,
Right.
a little bit rough just to run headlong into that. But for now, we're going to go ahead and let that wrap up section number 1, and I'm going to go ahead and throw on a little bit of music for you all, and we will be back with game number 2, Microgamers versus Team Elite. Go ahead and stay tuned.